Yo, what is cracking, guys? So we're going to do a Q&A. This has been a poll basically put up on my Instagram, a wee question box. We're going to do these now kind of regularly just to give out any information that people maybe wants to delve into. So we've done a wee post on Instagram. I have a list of questions here, literally wrote them down, haven't went through them, so I've just literally wrote them down. I've got like 10 questions here. We'll just stick them up here, we'll just go through them one by one and we'll just answer them. So, favourite supplements you couldn't be without. So, supplements we couldn't be without. The thing about supplements is, and the most important thing to remember here is food should always be the staple, no matter what. Your nutrition should always be the staple. So, supplement that I couldn't do without, I'm going to say pre-workout. I love my pre-workouts. Stem pre-workout and a pump pre-workout is essential for me. For me to get a good workout, if you're tired, if you're just not completely switched on, I do believe that the pre-workout is going to take your workout to another level, 100%. So that would be the go-to. At the end of the day, everything else can be replaced with food. So never think you have to rely on supplements. How are you feeling this lean for so long? Most will struggle with one show. So basically a bit of an insight for anybody that hasn't been following. I've done 3 competitions back to back with a few weeks break in between. I've been ready before the first one for, well, put it as I've been ready probably 12 weeks now, absolutely shredded. So it is tough. It's tough mentally. The first few shows is pretty easy. You know, at the end of the day, you're focused, you're locked in. But once you start to go show to show, the fatigue builds, let's face it. And from my experience, the 3rd show that I did, we had dug very, very hard, very, very deep, too far, and we paid the price, you know, and ultimately we did fatigue out. Like, so mentally and physically it took its toll. At that point we were ready to quit, not quit as such, but call it a day, end the season, because the body was so fatigued. At that point, obviously, we know I switched coach to Cuba, and we basically said to ourselves, could we possibly scrape one more? So obviously we had qualified for the British finals for PCA and the FedEx, and we also had qualified for the GBO Pro Show. So there was options there for a show, and we decided to dig on. So we are here 10 days out. Body feels good, body looks good. Mentally we're ready to end the season and get into growing season. But again, that boils down to nearly 40 weeks dieting. You know, it's been a long season. So all in all, don't feel too bad. Tips for building muscle. So building muscle, really, you know, one thing I do see a lot of people making the mistake of is mistaking body fat and gaining weight on the scales for muscle tissue. You can only gain muscle at a certain rate, let's face it. You know, when people think, oh, I've added so much size and I've added X amount of pounds of weight and it's all muscle, and you look at them and their body composition like they have no real condition there at all. They're just bigging around and they're carrying a shitload of body fat. You know, that's not building muscle. So basically what you need to do there, first of all, is tips would be start off with a lean base, you know, pull it back, do a recomp, make sure insulin sensitivity is maximized, and then just make sure you've got your, like, once you do that recomp, you have full control essentially. You have full control of body fat levels, you know, nutrient partition is going to be better, and you just increment slowly, you know, go into surplus 200-300 calories to start with, and just keep increasing it as you go. Food's key, rest and recovery is key, sleep's key, and obviously stress management as well. And of course we know we're not going to grow in this, we've got the intensity in the gym. So, you know, that is basically all the pieces of the pie, put them together and you will make progress. How do you manage a physique show to show? Managing a physique show to show is very easy if you know exactly what you're doing. It just depends what level the physique's at. Like, if you do one show, you come out the back of it, you kind of reassess and you go, well, could I improve? Where could we improve? Like, do we need to improve conditioning? If we do, then, you know, you can go back into a deficit. If conditioning is bang on the money, then you need to get yourself back into maintenance calories, like, you know, or even spend a few days in a surplus and then come back down again. If the peaks are back to back, the most important thing is that you get yourself back to a baseline before you load again. So, you know, it's very, very manageable if you have a solid head and your shoulders and you go about it logically. Favorite carbs for carb up? All the carbs, lads, all the carbs. My carb sources at the minute Very limited because the only carbs I have at the minute is basmati rice and oats. If I was to do a carb up, I would go for creamy rice, I would go for basmati rice. Anything rice based is going to sit well in the stomach. You know, we can go a wee bit outside of the grain and use a wee bit of square bars. I have been guilty in the past of using Haribos. Again, all easy digestion sources. Now this depends how much you need to load and what space of time you have to load. So my favourite sources would be bagels, jam, square bars, creamy rice, basmati rice, Haribos, boom, good to go. Do you use diuretics? So I've used diuretics in the past with great success. Recently I have stopped using them. It doesn't mean I'm dead set against it. Do I use them with my clients? I never really need to. There's certain physiques where you would see the benefit in it, and the thing about it is, for me, most important thing is before you peak a physique is getting it fat free. This is where people goes badly wrong. Like if you've got the physique completely shredded going into peak week, like I use, let me see, Peak Max, some Peak Max we plug here for strong. It's a very good product if used correctly. You know, it does have a good application there, and you don't need to use pharmaceutical diuretics. So you need to be, the key thing, I'll give a few tips. Like the key thing is, like if you're going to dry out completely naturally, the Peak Max is a very good option. Vitamin C, dandelion root, high caffeine. There's your tips there. If you're going to use pharmaceutical diuretics, there's a few key things they note. You never fully cut sodium. You never fully cut water. You do that and you're setting yourself up for disaster straight away. So as long as you keep the sodium in, as long as you keep the water intake in there, and you know exactly what you're doing, then you know it can be done, and it can be done safely and very, very effectively. But again, it comes down to experience, and it also comes down to knowledge. So if you have no knowledge on it, do not even try it. Peak Max, much safer option. Worst client experience. It's a hard one. Nothing really jumps in my mind as a bad experience as such. One key thing to remember here is personalities. Like, we are all people. Coach, like I have a personality, and at the end of the day too, I keep everything very professional. So like everybody has personalities, and not everybody's gonna, you're not gonna gel with everybody. And that's fine. You know, at the end of the day, we're human beings. We all have personalities. Like, it's like you go out now, you're not gonna be best friends with everybody. You know, people pretend to be, but it's not possible. You know, so bad experiences, no real bad experiences. Have I learned a lot? I've learned a lot, and sometimes I've learned that I give too much to certain people that should never have got it. But you live and learn, and that's just my personality. I try to be the best I can be. I try to give everything, and sometimes you don't get it back, and you realise that now. And you live and learn. Lads, this is a learning curve, and we're always learning. Considerations picking a female versus a male. Well, it's completely different, isn't it? Male versus female. Obviously, this is going to be class dependent, really. More of the male classes, men's physique, bodybuilding, you're going to be going for a drier, harder look. Female classes, some 9 times out of 10, unless you're a figure, athletic figure and trained figure, you're not going to be going for that brick hard granite dry look. You know, the bikini classes, it's very, very important to keep the fullness in the glutes, keep the fullness in the delts while trying to get the hamstring tie in. And again, it can be a balancing act, because if you try to dry too much in the back end, you lose the delt pop. You know, so it's a balancing act really, and it's completely criteria dependent. So like peaking an athlete, whether it's male or female, is more so not male to female, it's more so class dependent. What's the criteria? You know, a lot of people, like not everybody, you would have to like cut water or reduce water. Like all my bikini athletes at the minute, we don't cut water at all. We keep it in. Men's physique guys, again, if you get them peeled, no need to cut water. Bodybuilding a wee bit more severe. Obviously, you're going for that grainy, hard, dry, real fucking nasty look. So it takes a wee bit more manipulation. But again, everybody's different, and this comes down to more so criteria, class, and the individual. How do you get so crazy results? Results, obviously you need to have the knowledge there, but I think it's just more so my personality. So the work rate, it's the work that goes on. I put it down to attention to detail, I think every coach that has the experience has the potential to get the crazy results. It's just more so, could they be bothered, and are they giving the clients the attention? Like, no matter what level my clients is at, competitive athlete, whether they be a beginner or whether they're professional, they'll still get the same level of attention off me across the board. It doesn't matter. I nearly want the one, not so much the one, I nearly want the polished look on stage. So let's put it like that, because like obviously not everybody's going to win, not everybody has the physique to win, not everybody's at that level to be winning yet, but what you are in full control of is bringing the best out of somebody. So like, I almost want that more than the clients at times. It's just in my nature, I'm very competitive too, and I think that does help, because obviously who doesn't want to, like, when you know what goes on their prep. And I think this helps as well, is the fact that I live and breathe this. Like, I practice it myself, you know, I take my body to extremes, I compete at a high level, so I know what it takes to get in shape, and I know what I would expect, I know what I would like to receive support wise, and I definitely give it to my clients and more. Like, I've never received the support from anybody else that I actually give to my clients. Let's just put it together. So, and that's exactly why we get the results. Favorite cheat meal? Favorite cheat meal? See, to be honest, food wise, I would just like, see, just even just a burger and chip. But I'm more of a dessert man, so it would be like cheesecake, like cakes with cream inside, ice creams, like it's all sweet stuff is where it gets me, like, at the minute. And the thing is as well, like, see, whenever I'm in off season, like, I do chat the big talk here, like, but see, in off season I don't even eat much crap like that. It's just, obviously I'm on prep now, so cheat meal now, man, it would be the main course. I wouldn't be too worried about. A burger and chip I'd be happy with. It'd be more so the desserts, lads. is what gets me. The desserts are unreal. Just bear in mind, this prep that I've done, I haven't had one cheat meal, not one cheat meal. So the only times that we've ate off plan has been post show, and we've done 3 shows, so 3 meals. That's been it. We've been dieting 40 weeks, not one cheat meal has been had. What's next? When's the next comp? So we are 10 days out from the British finals. Not PCA, I'm lying. We've qualified for PCA. PCA is this weekend, so anybody that's competing in PCA, best of luck. I would have loved to have been up there in PCA. I really would have been. That was my main aim. We just messed up the way that we ran on it. We did too many shows, too far away from it, caused the fatigue. We had to pull back, and we just wouldn't have had the time. The stress would have been too much to try and make it. So we've aimed for the FedEx British finals, which is a week later, which is in Blackpool. Again, lads, FedEx is no joke. It's, the lineups are stacked. That show's getting bigger. The more I see of it, and see, to be honest, I competed in FedEx as my first show of the season, and it was unreal. Unreal. The way it was ran, it's the exact same as PCA. Goodie bags. Everybody there couldn't do enough for you, so I'd highly recommend it to anybody. The lineups are not, they're not light. They're big lineups. Peaking back to back, I think, how do you approach? We basically touched on that already. The most important thing is, if you've got a back-to-back show, is you look at the physique and you go, can I improve? If you're happy with what you brought in the first one, then all you need to really do is get back to baseline. The baseline, and they peak it again. You know what I mean? And each peak that you do, if managed properly, like, you should be able to improve slightly. You've got more data. The only time where you won't improve is where, like my one in the third show, was ridiculous amount of fatigue built up. The physique was tired. Yes, it did full up, but then, you know, it was just missing that wee bit of pop. So that was just down to sheer tiredness, and it does happen. So if you're going to go back to back, don't be fully ready in the first ones, is my advice. Like, if you're going back to back for a reason, to try and improve each one towards like a finals or whatever. If you went down to the first one at 90, second one 95%, then boom, in the finals at 100. That's what I would recommend. Don't try and go on to them all at 100%, because that's what I did, and trust me, it's hard to hold it. Really hard to hold it. Like, no matter how mentally strong you are, the body it will fatigue. Do you get nervous for your clients? Do I get nervous for my clients? Like, I would, of course, it's exciting. I would put it down to excitement. Like, maybe years ago, towards last year, like, obviously, whenever you were doing it, I would have been a wee bit nervous, but now there's no real nerves. I'd be a lot more confident in my approaches. I'd be a lot more confident in my ability. So don't get nervous in that sense. A lot of excitement. It actually, like this month, for example, I've got people competing every single weekend, and it just fires me up. I love it. It keeps me excited. So I'd be excited 100%. No doubt about it. But that is the crack, guys. I think I've done enough questions. I don't want this video to be too long. Anybody has any more questions, you can fire them in the comments, and we'll do another one next week. Let's get it.